Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I wasn't actually going to be doing any beer chat stroke reviews this week, simply because I'm still hanging on to this cough. However, it's not affecting my taste or smell or anything like that, so I'm quite confident to do it. I just might cough whilst I'm speaking to you. But then what happened was I came home tonight from work and I'd forgotten all about it. I had a delivery from Beer52. And of course, like all beer deliveries, it's always very nice and excitable to open the box and see what's in there, especially if you've done a mixed case of something and you've let them pick. I've really got to try and figure out what light's shining on my glasses here, but I need them on. Anyway, so here's the magazine that comes with Beer52. And as I opened it up, I see this big, way Oktoberfest. Well, I've been a bit disappointed that Oktoberfest is finished. I really enjoyed that run of German beers. And lo and behold, in here, it's Prost, discover the past, present and future of German brewing. There's a lot of talk about Oktoberfest in here. The first couple of pages, I've not even really got into it. I just wanted to get down here and talk about his beers. So, like, yeah, it's all there. And there's going to be some chatting about that. But, yeah, so basically what I've got 4 beers in the fridge that I'm going to talk about. Excuse me. The first one is this one, Prost. And it's a Schwarz beer. and this is brewed it's the brewery is Bureau. I've got it up in front of me. Contemporary German craft beer brewery. So obviously these are a small independent brewery. And it says on the can here, it's brewed and canned for Bureau at St. Ives Brewery. Now, the reason I got into Beer52, I'd heard about it a lot. So look, what I'm going to do, because I've got to make this quick, I've got 4 beers to do. Now, I don't think I'm going to do them all in one video. I'm going to do them all individually, but they're going to be coming on the same night. And I'm going to be getting a little bit tipsy. Now, this, as you can see, is a dark lager, okay? So, yes, so basically, I don't know why I slowed that down a bit because I've got plenty of room in here, I think. Look at that bad boy. Yeah, so the reason I got into this, I just moved this magazine out of the way, is because when I went to the St. Ives Brewery and I went for the tour, they talked about Beer52. And they talked about the Cuckoo Brewing, where they will help other small breweries that haven't got the real capacity to brew, a lot of beer, but they've got all the ideas and they've got all the wants and the will, and everybody has to start from somewhere. So I think they've probably gone more from homebrew, a bit past that, but they want to brew enough of these beers that they can send out and people can try. So St. Ives told us that they help these out by brewing their beers for them, and they don't normally sort of like they don't even put their name on some of the cans, but this one is. So this is basically a dark, right, so Phil Schwarz with this traditional dark German lager, okay, and that's as much as I'm reading. So 4.2% ABV, lovely little, if you look at, I've got the web page in front of me here, and basically, like, if you look at that, they've got all these different little faces on them. And so that seems to be the style that on the cans or the bottles, they've got different faces on. And I've just got a notification about something that the iPad's given me. Anyway, this dark lager is looking very dark indeed. Very dark, sort of beautiful, sort of like not even off-white. It's like a, very quite ale-y sort of like, very stouty almost looking. You know, if you like poured Guinness a little bit wrong and you get the head change, it goes from white. It's almost like that. But it's looking very, very dark. And I really have enjoyed the dark lagers that I've tried. So it's all been about the year of the lager, isn't it? And here we have Beer52 sending me some Oktoberfest inspired brews to try, 4 of them. Right, so let's get into this one. First of all, yes, very, very, really, 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 really dark malt Oh, really? Crikey. I mean, I can't believe these are like lagery beers, you know. Absolutely lovely, that is. Lagery beer. See how I said that? It's because it's dark, isn't it? You know, it's you just don't look upon that as a lager. It's just absolutely amazing. But yeah, there is some really malt forward. That is really malty. There's also like some chocolatey smells in there. Everything you'd expect from like a dark beer, really. It's like amazing. Right, I'm getting straight into this. Cheers, everybody. Prost. Oh, nice, nice. What's great about these dark lagers is lager is it's just crisp, refreshing. It's nice, isn't it? It is sort of like it is there to be served cold. It's there to mature for a long while. You know, it gets lagered for a long while. I've been really interested in some of these varieties of lagers. You know, like using lager yeast at ale temperatures. God, at 4.2 ABV, that's got quite a lot of flavours. Very roasty, real nice roasty flavours. But it's great because you've got the roasty flavours with a nice crisp, refreshing sort of. It's really weird. It's like really refreshing, but also very dark as well. So it's something that you get a lot of flavours out of, even with it being cold. Really nice tingly on the tongue. A nice subtle bitterness there. Really lovely roasty bitterness as well. Really sort of medium-y dry, but not enough to make me really over salivate. Really lovely. Right, I'm going to read the can straight away because well, I want these to be quick and fast and furious. If I can read it from here, my goodness, even with my glasses on, look at how small that writing is. I mean, for goodness sake, you know what I mean? I know it's only a little can, it's a 330ml can, but like crikey. So yeah, so feel the Schwartz with. So this is a Schwartz beer. So I'm not even actually quite sure what that is. I will have a look and I'll pop it up on the screen just to make sure. I know. I'm imagining it's sort of like a just dark lager, isn't it? This traditional dark German lager with malt forward nose, yes, just a hint of roastiness. Well, I wouldn't say a hint of roastiness, actually. Probably on the nose, maybe. But on the taste, I'd say, yeah, there's a decent level of roastiness in that, but not overpowering. I don't like it when they over roast the malts, if you know what I mean, where they overcook them, when they get them like peated or whatever, and you get that fag ashy type of like burntness about them. Unless it's really, if you're going to be doing that, if you're going to be really darkening something up, you've got to you've got to sweeten it out. You've got to like help it along the way. So you're getting all them real dark flavours, but you've got to you can't really be a spooning. You don't spoon coffee straight into your mouth. That'd but put some water in it and a bit of milk. It's all right, you know what I mean? For some sugar as well. Right, just a hint of roastiness and a dark colour. This style can be deceptive. Most of its bitterness comes not from dark grains, but from the Hallertauer hops. Now that is, I've wrote it down here. Yeah, I can't say it. It's a really popular hop, isn't it? That is. It's one of the 4 noble hops, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, this how are you saying it? Hallertauer, Saaz, Spalt, and Chiang. It's really weird. I've looked that up for somebody to tell me how it says Chiang. It almost sounds like Chiam. I'm not very good at my German. I really ain't. But I know I've seen this Hallertauer hops, or however you say it, a lot in the German beers. Light in body, yeah, lovely. But you know, like sometimes when the body's light, it's a bit thin, but it ain't. It's just light. It's nice. It's not thin by any strength at all. It is, yeah, it is light. Light in body, zingy and moorish. Yeah, very moorish. Plenty of fizz, yeah. Nice fizz on the tongue. It is surprisingly refreshing and refreshingly surprising. Absolutely, bang on. Do you know what? That is for a 4.2 dark lager. That is absolutely smashing. A little bit of chocolate on the nose when you pop it in your mouth. I just love the fact you got that crispness about it. The crispness, the light mouthfeel isn't offensive because it's not. It wants to be nice and light and crisp. It's nice to have a nice light lager, isn't it? But then coming in with all them dark flavours in the background, very nice. That is. I think because we're in the sort of know, and the flavours are getting better and better and better. This is definitely one of those beers where I'll be disappointed when I've drank this because I think, I wish I had a pint of it. Because the flavours are getting better as my palate adapts to them. But look, carbonations, look, the head staying all the way down to the bottom as well. I love these glasses. These glasses are fantastic. Really are good. But like I say, if I was to give this to somebody and say, right, tell me what that beer is, I reckon, unless you know. In fact, to be honest with you, I think even if I got given it, I would be thinking, oh my word. Because there's not really any of that, you're not getting any of that sort of Germany yeasty type of giveaways, if you know what I mean. But yeah. Do you know what? I bloody well enjoy it. I've just got a little bit of hops there. Just a little bit of that, like slight sort of crisp, florally, sort of almost not spicy, sort of bit of spiciness from the hop. Yeah, so right at the end, I was that interested in all the darkness in there. I'd sort of almost forgot about the crispness, and them flavours were coming through. But it's not until right at the end I thought, they are. Oh, hello, they're the hops. So yeah, bang on. 12-minute video, unedited. I'm not going to edit it. I bet you I do, because I can't. So anyway, so I'm going to stop this, and I think I've got time for one more in this video, so I can do two at a time. Okay, I'll be back in a second. So right, second beer of the evening from Thornbridge Brewery. Now this says Colne style beer, or Colne, how you would say, but it's a Kolsch. I think it's like C-O-L or C-O-L-S-C-H. I don't know. Speno's spelling is pretty crap. But for what I've obviously I've got to research this because I'm my hands up. I don't know. I really don't know. But what it is technically an ale, and it's fermented at sort of like ale temperatures, like top fermented, but then it's lagered almost. It's sort of like matured like for a long time at colder temperatures, like a lager. So that's very, very interesting. So I've got it actually here. In keeping with Kolsch, but brewed here in Bakewell. So we use German hops, malts and yeast to make this as close as possible to the originals, as we love this style of beer. We describe it as a hybrid. Now, I was actually going to say, I've got this up and I haven't read that. I was going to read it as I went through the chat. But I was going to say a hybrid because there's others that are lager yeasts. I nearly dropped it then. Lager yeast. Oh God, the wrong way round. I'm getting a bit confused here. Bloody hell. A lager yeast that's brewed at higher temperatures. That looks so light coming out of the can. It's no. Whoa, Look at that. Right, so I actually reviewed a beer the other day from the Hackney Church Brewery, and I was a little bit too well into the beer to put it out, so I weren't. But that was a hybrid beer. That was a beer brewed with lager yeast at warmer temperatures. I'll have to check that out. So it was a hybrid. It was like a hybrid beer. Look at that in the glass. Oh my goodness me. That is stunning. That is clear. I mean, look, there's still a few little bubbles just chasing the way out. The ones that were left behind, just getting up to that lovely, snowy white head. Okay, so this is really strange. So having come from that dark lager, which you think is like, it gives you a stouty sort of like things. This is an ale, technically an ale. So it says that we describe it as a hybrid. It is an ale and brewed with ale yeast. However, it has a long conditioning period like a lager and shares a lot of the same flavour characteristics. Well, that, to me, looks like a German lager. It looks exactly the same as the Paulaner lager I had that I've got in the fridge right now. Lovely, lots of lovely bubbles chasing up to that head. The reflection of me, like, look, you can literally see me through that glass. Ooh, hello. That is absolutely a stunning, stunning looking beer. Right, so it smells like a lager. So the hops, Hallertauer, again, malts, Pilsner, Carapils and wheat. And you must be over 18 to purchase this product. Well, that puts me well in front. Okay, so this is technically an ale. What an interesting beer. It's very smelly. It is very lagery. Quite wheaty. Sort of, a bit bready actually. Crackery sort of bready. Anyway, I'm going to dive into this. I might be getting all this wrong, but 4.8% ABV. Whoa. Whoa. I like that. Coming from the dark lager I've just had. And that was really crisp and refreshing as well. So this is crisp and refreshing, but also it's got that aleness about it. Very light bitterness. Almost having to breathe. Now you suck wine through your teeth. Obviously with the Pilsner malts and that, you know, very, very light, refreshing in the malt balance. Smooth. Leaves a nice, smooth finish on your palate. Almost a little bit, almost a tiny bit milky. You know, if you have a like a milk stout, or you have a you know, a beer with like a lactose in, and you get that like top of your palate, you get that milkiness. It's hard to say smooth being a little bit sort of like really distantly bitter. But it has got a level of smoothness at the back. A nice level of, when it ends, there's almost a creaminess to that. Wow, these beers are pretty decent. And 4.8%, so it's quite low. These are low in the ABV considered, you know, for our German. And, you know, if we're talking like when it comes to German style beers, you know, this is sort of like light breakfast beer, isn't it, really? This is. But what a colour. What a colour. What a absolutely awesome, like, look at that Wizard of Oz carbonation there. Like, rising the back up to that head. Absolutely, look at that. It's so light in colour. So crisp. It's really, considering how light it is, it's very Moorish. Yeah, the malts are sweet, nice. It's sweetness in there, but really lovely. There's a lovely sweetness in there that's not sugar sweet. It's naturally, it's probably coming from the yeast. The fruit, and there is some fruitiness as well. But there's also that real, there is almost like, it's a slight, very slight skunky smell, if you know what I mean. And that's a bad thing to say about lagers. But whether or not that's to do with like temperatures and things, but it ain't bad. It's not a bad. I might edit that out because like, and if you and if you see this little bit, and I'll tell you I've edited it out, you won't know what I've edited out. But anyway. It's quite a coarse, rustic smell. Oh, there's a really nice. The finish on that is really nice. I really like the finish on that. It is really, when it takes a minute or two, it goes, and you're left with just like almost like a creamy mouthfeel. Light, refreshing, crisp, clean, creamy mouthfeel. Bloody good that is. A definite hybrid. Yeah, a definite cold ale. You know. Really, really good. So yeah, crisp, refreshing. Yeah, citrus. Yeah, I mean it says a hint of citrus, but citrus and me, we don't really mix that well. If it's a hint of citrus, I'm liking that. When things are over citrus for me, I don't know. I'm not really like into like highly citrusy beers. Yeah, it's great for drinking all year round, but particularly enjoyable outside of long summer days. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you something. The flavours in that was quite cold as well. I mean, I've not had these overly cold because they've only been in the fridge since they came out. They've been in the fridge about, I don't know, 3 hours, maybe, probably a little bit more. No, probably more actually. Probably 3.5 hours. I know that's splitting hairs, but I'd like to probably have these in the fridge overnight. You know, so that we're in a dark can. It's technically an ale. It's brewed with ale. It's top fermented with ale yeast, and then it is cold matured like a lager. And I tell you something, that's done something to that. It's great. It's giving it like some real. It's probably out the yeast I'm getting. So the esters out the yeast. That's. I probably like said the wrong thing when I said skunky. It's more danky. And that word is used very, for me, I don't know, I don't really know. It's just a word that come out of my mouth, and then I realise that it is a word we use in beer, and I think it's more when the spiciness, sort of danky spice, sort of whatever. But I look upon it as a bit like an overly matured fruit, so sort of like going on the over ripeness. So it's a little bit like you can't pick out what it is, but it's just a little bit. It's just a bit gone too far that way, but it lends itself to the fullest flavours you can get. But yeah. That is just clean, crisp, like it says. Crisp, refreshing. The malt bill in there is really, really nice. I've got to see what that Carapils is. I've never heard of that before, I'll be honest. But like, yeah, the malt bill in that is really nice. And oh, that leaves you hanging. That leaves you wanting more all the while. I'd like that a little bit stronger. I would really like that. If they could have probably popped that up to about 6%, that'd be banging. That'd have the malts and that creamy, that milky mouthfeel at the end. That creamy mouthfeel would lend itself beautiful with a bit more alcohol, like a bit warming. Fabo, I like that. Right, that's them two done. Oh, excuse me. On to the next one. So this will be in 2 videos. This will be part 1. And then we've got the next 2 to do in part 2. Thank you so much for watching. Hope the mic's not annoyed you too much. And it's all slipped round and everything. And I hope the sound's okay. And yeah. Catch you on the other side. Thanks for all the new subscribers as well. I was really pleased with 200. I think we're about 213 as well. So it's building, building, building. Lots of love from the Spedo.